Thank you to those of you joining us on the GBN Television Facebook page, the Grenada Broadcasting Network's YouTube channel. The Facebook page is GBN Grenada Broadcasting Network. The website, www.gbn.gd, GBN TV, channel 7, 11, and 20. And good morning to the listeners of Classic 105.5, 105.9. It is Monday, and I have not seen my guests signed on to the Zoom platform as yet. So in the meantime, we are going to open the platform and have an impromptu, possibly shortened, open phone line here on the program. In the meantime, while we wait on our guest from the Ministry of Agriculture to discuss World Food Day, which takes place on Friday, God willing, call me and let me know what's on your mind, anything you'd like to share with us, your thoughts, concerns, questions, queries on anything that is happening or something that you would like to find out. Now is your time to call in on the program. 435-2041, that's the landline number. You can also message us on WhatsApp. It's also 435-2041. Please only written messages on WhatsApp, and you can also comment on the Facebook and YouTube pages. Good morning, caller.
Good morning.
Morning.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you doing?
Not bad at all.
All right. Go ahead.
I just want to find out, I recently did a recording with GBN concerning the General Hospital operating theater that is in a dilapidated state. And up to now, they have not brought that story. I don't know what is the problem.
Last I heard, the reporter wanted to get the official response from government, but you can call the newsroom to inquire. 440-2561. No, that don't sound right. Hold on. Sorry. Just hold on one moment. Let me double check that number, because that number does not sound
right. Okay.
It does not sound right in my head. 440-1252. 440-1252. That's the newsroom number.
Okay, 1252.
Yes.
440. Okay, thank you very much, and have a blessed day.
Thanks, you too.
You're welcome.
All right. Here to help in whatever way I can. So hopefully the gentleman gets through with his queries. Yes, it is open phone line. Okay, it is open phone line here on the program. Let's go back to the phone lines. Good morning, caller.
Good morning to you.
Morning.
Awesome.
Morning.
I have heard a rumor from the NDC that the electoral office is having some problems or some blunders. People that is being registered, they still see names moving from one constituency to the other, and that people who register over a period of time have not been able to get their new ID cards. Can you use your good office to ask the electoral office to give us an update on what is the position? It appears that there is some rumors around, and perhaps they should be they're in the right position to clear it.
Sure, no problem, but just let me inquire, have you contacted the office?
No, I have not contacted the office. I'm saying I only heard it from the rumors on the program yesterday. The public relation officer was making some statements on it, and I'm saying that if that is so, if it is in the public, the electoral office should be able to clear that rumors for us.
Okay, noted. I would see what I can do.
Thank you. Thank
you so much. I would speak with the powers that be here at the GBN, and we will see if we can make arrangements for the... It's been a while since we've had them on the program, actually, so they can give us an update on matters of national importance. Let me check the social media before I go back to the phone lines. Somebody on WhatsApp says name and shame, and that's a continuation from the discussion this morning in relation to what could and should be done to ensure that the COVID-19 protocols, rules and regulations are adhered to. Somebody says name and shame the persons who have had the chance to be home, need to understand the importance of following the rules and remember the people. 4 days is not a lot to endure. Good morning, caller.
Good morning, greetings.
Morning.
I take the opportunity to raise an issue which I've raised before, And I think it is just time that I get some justice in this here country as a common citizen. On the 28th of August last year, 2019, I was assaulted in St. George's. A man hung on to me, dragged me for a period of time until I resisted and attacked him in the legitimate defense of myself. He threw a glass of fresh juice or something in my face. He out my camera. He did all kind of things. He did Lego some cuff on me in the St. George's Day. I reported to the police. I gave a statement to the police. Up to now, nothing has come out of it. I'm calling on the legal authority of this here country to do something. I have a right in the citizen to legitimate movement around the country. My access is established not only as a common citizen, as my constitutional right, so to speak, but as based on international law, the United Nations Convention on the Rights of People with Disabilities. I have a right to move about this country. And I do not see how the police can decide that a matter cannot be taken to have a judicial officer. In other words, someone established by the court with full authority to decide whether or not I cannot or should not walk the tongue of St. George's as I so want. This man, I understand in my investigation, is fully known by the warden, the traffic warden, who saw what happened right in front of Digicel. As a matter of fact, my investigation has proven, as I end here, that Digicel has footage of what happened, and the police refused to investigate it, and the police up to now has not come back to me to tell me why is it that I can't get a judicial office of the court of this country to decide on my matter. Where does the police get the authority to decide what should be taken to the court or not? I demand justice in this here country. The time has come that the people of this here country should clamor for their rights. Rights are not only for politicians and those who quote unquote hold power. Rights are for each and every individual of this here country. So I call on the chief of police, because that's what he is. The chief of police, but I hear reacting. Everything in this country is papi show. But I want my right, and I continue to clamor for it. Thank you very much.
Citizen Rolo, sorry, before you run off, Citizen Rolo, have you contacted, or when last have you contacted the police to follow up?
I don't have to contact them for anything.
No, you don't have to, but I'm just asking if you have.
No, I have. I did some months ago, through the Community Relations Department, through the Central Division, the Central Police Station, and nothing can be said. It is just thrown on. As a matter of fact, it's 5 times I've been assaulted in St. George's between 2010 and now. 5 times. But I'm noting them, you know. Have a nice day, will you?
Thank you, Citizen Rolo. Enjoy your day as well. Sometimes we don't have to do something, but it could benefit us to do it. I'm just suggesting. Let me check the social media. No comments on WhatsApp. Not WhatsApp, sorry. On YouTube. Any comments on Facebook? Okay, I'll get back to Facebook. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Dawson.
Morning.
How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How you do?
Pretty good.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, aren't you appalled by what Citizen Rolo just said there? When are we citizens of this country going to ask to support him in stuff like this? We look internationally and we see people having to run from the countries. You know, that's how those things start, Blossom, where people have been denied their rights, and then governments who have been elected to act in the interest of the citizens race them out of the country. I think we really have to stand up, like the people used to say a long time, and take notice of what's happening. If I remember very well, today is the 12th of October. I think it's on this day, 37 years ago, that the late Maurice Bishop was put under house arrest. And then, I think Saturday, the 10th of October, was Taiwan's birthday, double 10. Just a reminder. Have a good day now. Bye.
Thank you very much, caller. Enjoy your day as well. Somebody on WhatsApp says, I would like to know when the toilet in Victoria St. Mark will be open to the public. Please, it is overdue. When you are waiting for bus and you want to ease yourself, you have to beg someone to use their toilet. I can suggest you also take it up with your MP, your parliamentary representative, St. Mark, that's Mrs. Clarice Meadows Corbin, or the constituency office, and you can also make that inquiry there. Somebody else on WhatsApp. I believe no parking signs are put in places to ease congestion to foster the flow of traffic. I don't understand why police officers believe they have more rights than other citizens. All over where there are no parking signs, you see the police parking their private vehicles there. Outside Inland Revenue is a typical example. The police, based on their ranks, park anywhere, and this is causing traffic congestion. It is embarrassing to see how this place is coming just because of selfishness. The last line rings true. It is embarrassing to see how the place is becoming because of selfishness, and not just by the police. While I hear what you're saying, it's everybody, including, I shouldn't say especially, yes, including drivers and road users. Everybody figure greens is mine, so let me do what I want on the nation's roads. And I note your concern about the wayward parking. Yeah, let me leave that by there, so before I get into trouble. WhatsApp. Somebody on WhatsApp says, if we increase the fine and make it a must that every visitor must have to be quarantined by authorities and police officers or members of the SSUS security to guard the facilities to enforce the COVID protocol, and I know the results will totally be different than what we see going on. On that note, we are going to take a break, and then we are going to come back with this morning's guest. This is To The Point on Classic and GBN. We'll be right back.
Hi, I'm Francis Urias Peters. I'm a good listener, and K105 has always been a great source of education and entertainment. Now, while the station name may have changed over the years, it has always provided valuable information which enabled me as a playwright to document and to celebrate our history, our behavior, and our achievements. K105 is my choice. It's the national station.
The best way to protect yourself from 2019 novel coronavirus is to avoid being exposed to the virus. Additionally, there are preventative actions that you can take to protect yourself and your family from the spread of respiratory viruses that can make you sick. These include stay home if you're sick, cover your cough, and wash your hands.
Let's Cook Grenada, a practical culinary guide to local cuisine. Learn new ways to prepare your favorite foods, or try different menus from various locations across the island. Let's Cook, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11, GBN's Facebook page, and GBN's YouTube channel. If you miss it, catch the repeat Thursdays at 10 a.m. and Sundays at 3:30 p.m.
We believe this new virus spreads mostly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when someone who is sick coughs or sneezes. This is similar to how flu and other respiratory illnesses spread. These droplets can land in the mouth or nose of people nearby, or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. Most person-to-person spread happens when people are in close contact. It's also possible that this virus can spread when someone touches a contaminated surface and then touches the mouth, nose, or eyes.
Cities are vacant like they've never been.
Welcome back to The Point. Better late than never. We have our guest joining us. A little mix-up, a little breakdown in communication, but we're going to get the interview off and running. This morning I have joining us is Director of Research in the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Malachy Dottin, as we prepare to commemorate World Food Day on Friday, God willing. Good morning, Dr. Dottin.
Good morning.
All is well with you?
I'm doing so great. Thank you.
No problem. So let's get into it because we're already behind time. So we're going to get right into it. World Food Day 2020. Tell us what the theme is for this year's celebration and its significance to Grenada.
Thank you. And let me extend warm and paternal greetings to the listening audience. This year's theme, it's grow, nourish, sustain together for the future. Why do we have to grow, nourish, and sustain together for the future? We have got 9 species that are producing 65% of our crop production. But interestingly, we have got 30,000 species. And the question is that, could we utilize more species, plants and animals, that we can nourish our population and at the same time sustain our biodiversity, our natural resources, and guarantee that we can reduce hunger and malnutrition throughout the world. So that's the theme. We may want to ask ourselves, how does that apply to Grenada? You may recall that we would have said and launched the National Food Security Program. And we have said that all Grenadians at all times should have access, should have economical, physical, cultural, and affordable access to safe, nutritious, and sufficient food for an active and healthy lifestyle. So our food security program, how we would have defined it, is linked. There is a dialectic relationship with what is being offered by FAO in terms of the World Food Day theme. And the question may be asked, how could we have done that? This has been done because you would recall that during the COVID, we would have put programs in place to enhance our food security. So that's in terms of the growth and production sense. But how do we nourish our population in Grenada? And it ought to be nourished following the food line dietary guidelines. You would recall that earlier on this year, we have launched the food-based dietary guidelines. And importantly, tomorrow, we will launch that food-based dietary guidelines in Carriacou. Why are we launching the food-based dietary guidelines? We have launched the food-based dietary guidelines because it will guide our health, our nutrition education program, our agriculture program, policy, and it will establish the framework for eating healthy and maintaining an active life. Because when you looked at the food that are imported, most of the food that are imported are high in salt, high in sugar, it's dense with oil, and those things contribute towards communicable disease. So we are saying is that we need to grow, but we need to grow healthy food and nourish the population. And it is in this regard we have launched the food-based dietary guidelines. Further to this, what we have done is that we have revised the menu at school because we have said that there are challenges in the agriculture program, like finance, introduction of technology and innovation. We have got lands, access to lands, but importantly, marketing. And we have said that if we utilize our school feeding program, we will be able to solve a lot of the problem with marketing because we have got 20,000 children at school. And hence the reason, under the Zero Hunger Challenge Initiative, we have revised the school-based dietary guidelines, revised the menu at school to guarantee that the menu is linked with what we grow. It is our hope that with the budgetary allocation that will take place end of November, that there will be an increase in budget for our school feeding program. And the children can access at school healthy meal, but not only at school, access at home healthy meal. And I think that is crucial in relationship to the theme this year for World Food Day, which is to grow, nourish our people, sustain together our biodiversity and natural resources for the future, because our action today will determine the future tomorrow.
With all that has been going on in relation to the COVID-19 pandemic, how has that changed the activities that we would have to commemorate World Food Day this year?
Yes, it have changed the activity. In fact, what we are doing is that the activity will take place on the 16th of this month, which is Friday. We'll have the official activity, and that official activity will take place at the National Stadium. The National Stadium, after COVID, we have been using the National Stadium to sell our fresh fruit and vegetables. And the people, it's a continuum. So what we will do, we will have not more than 30 to 40 officials sitting and maintaining the distance, and we will utilize that space for the activity. So we will have the display, but we will maintain all the COVID theory, and it will take place at the National Stadium. Apart from that activity on Saturday at the National Stadium, we have already started activity at the respective school, both secondary and primary school, where we have been discussing the team. And interestingly, also among the secondary and primary school, we have got a cooking competition. It's linked with the school gardening program that the FOH have been maintaining throughout the respective schools, although it has been difficult because the school do not follow the normal program. So it's difficult. But interestingly, we have got that program, and the judging of that will take place on Thursday. So besides the problem with COVID, we have been able to come up with various programs and activities that will harness what we are doing for World Food Day.
What sort of benefits do you see from commemorating World Food Day and ensuring members of the public understand the importance of paying attention to what we eat, really?
It provides an environment for us to revisit our programs within the Ministry of Agriculture and beyond. It provides an environment to link agriculture with the Ministry of Education, with social protection or social services, with the Ministry of Health, because we cannot see agriculture as a standalone, the ministry itself. They have to have this dialectic relationship among the respective ministries. For example, if we grow food, and we are saying grow nutritious food, that nutritious food is to guarantee that we can prevent the non-communicable disease. We have been spending 70% of our budgetary allocation in the Ministry of Health with non-communicable disease. So hence the reason we have to work, Ministry of Health have got to work together by guaranteeing that we give the student a nutritious meal, it's create also a market for farmers. For example, let us say that the farmers at St. Andrews could supply all the school at St. Andrews, then you create a market for farmers. You also enable women to grow basic things at the home and supply to the schools. But interestingly, it has given us an opportunity to relook at some of the challenges of finance, the challenges of dealing with innovation and technology. How do we apply aquaponics and other technology, drip irrigation, into the agriculture system? It also has given us a chance to look at our land policy and introduce the land bank to guarantee that the youths have access to land and create an opportunity for market, because we can say, yes, fine regional market, yes, fine international market, but we are living under what I call globalization, under what I call a capitalist mode of production. So unless we are self-sufficient and prevent the dependency of food that are produced and food that are imported, which are high in sugar, dense in sugar and high in oil, then I think it will hasten the days of happiness for us. So I think it's a good opportunity for the Ministry of Agriculture to revisit, reassess our programs and activity. And interestingly, we have got a new minister who have come in at the right time.
I was about to ask, speaking of the new plans that you want to roll out in the ministry, what part does the new Minister of Agriculture, Mr. Peter David, play in that plan?
Well, first of all, let me say, we have had great direction from our former minister, that minister being Hasford, and she have left. But instructively, it is our hope that we will have extraordinary direction from our new minister. What is interesting, within the very first week of the new minister, he have held a meeting with the management team, but he have been in the field with the technician 3 days within the very first week, trying to touch base not only with the Ministry of Agriculture technical team, but interestingly, the farmers, who are the clients we are serving, and other people. So I think that's a great start. And I look forward for a lot from our new minister. What we will be doing next week, we will start to look at after listening to our farmers, after listening to our stakeholders, because this is crucial. And that's the new direction he has brought. He said we need to listen to them. And after listening to them, then in the next 2 weeks, we will come up with a program that will guide us in the future. And I think that is great, because the Ministry of Agriculture is not about the technical people. The Ministry of Agriculture is about our stakeholders. It's about Grenadians at large.
World Food Day, specifically the display that we usually hold, gives us an opportunity to interact with farmers, see the produce that they have for sale and the various products and so on that can come from some of this produce. Do we have an instance of more farmers coming on board this year, or with more produce than normal because of overproduction and what was down time in the purchasing and selling of these products?
Well, let me answer that by giving you some statistics. Presently, we have got 33,217 registered farmers, and that's a lot. But in terms of full-time farmers, we have got 2,017. And the part-time farmers, what we call subsistence farmers, we have got 23,233. The question is, after COVID, have we increased in terms of the number of farmers? And based on the definition of farmers, yes, we have increased in terms of the number of people who are engaged in farming. And in this respect, we will see more produced, yes, on the market. So we have to harness that plus and embrace it with our new program. And I'm aware that the new program will guarantee that there is an increase in terms of budgetary allocation, but interestingly, not only money that makes things happen, but efficiency and effectivity. Because Cuba is one of the poorest countries in the world, and they have got one of the best health systems in the Caribbean. So it's not only the increase in budgetary allocation, but I think COVID have ensured and have brought that we need to guarantee efficiency and effectivity, and this is what I'm seeing now within the ministry. I've seen less meeting, and I must congratulate the management for that. But although we have been having less meeting and meeting on Zoom, we have been having more output. So COVID have really been a great example for us.
All right, let's take a quick break, Dr. Dottin, and then we're going to come back. This is To The Point on Classic and GBN. We're going to be right back.
Let's Cook Grenada, a practical culinary guide to local cuisine. Learn new ways to prepare your favorite foods or try different menus from various locations across the island. Let's Cook, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. on GBN Television, Channel 7 and 11, GBN's Facebook page, and GBN's YouTube channel. If you miss it, catch the repeat Thursdays at 10 a.m. and Sundays at 3:30 p.m.
We believe this new virus spreads mostly from person to person through respiratory droplets produced when someone who is sick coughs or sneezes. This is similar to how flu and other respiratory illnesses spread. These droplets can land in the mouth or nose of people nearby, or possibly be inhaled into the lungs. Most person-to-person spread happens when people are in close contact. It's also possible that this virus can spread when someone touches a contaminated surface and then touches the mouth, nose, or eyes.
Welcome back to The Point for today, Monday, October 12, 2020. We're speaking with the Director of Research at the Ministry of Agriculture, Dr. Malachy Dottin, as we prepare for World Food Day, which will be celebrated on Friday, God willing. Dr. Dottin, before we get into the dietary guidelines, let me go to the phone lines and take this question. Good morning, caller.
Hi, good morning, Blossom.
Morning.
And to your followers, good morning. Doc, how are you doing, sir? I listened to the statistics that my good friend just gave us there, and it shows you the problem that we have in Grenada in defining what is agriculture. We seem to be confusing gardening with farming per se. There are a lot of people who are backyard gardeners like me, but I know it costs me more to grow things in my backyard than if I had to purchase it out there from a commercial farmer. I can't make money for that. And that is part of the frustration small farmers have, the small scale. We have to make a distinction between who is a gardener, who is a farmer, and as he mentioned the word subsistence farming, and who is a commercial farmer. And that's where the money is actually made. And unless we define that carefully, and we support and encourage commercial farming, and encourage farmers to be farmers and not marketers, meaning that they don't feel that they have to come and sell to the final consumer. To make a living, we're not going anywhere. A farmer should be a farmer, and we have to teach our farmers to farm productively on their farm. And when that product leaves their farm, they should have made a profit there. But if they have to go and buy a pickup truck, lime somewhere down the road, lose all the time from the farm, and to sell it to you or I, they're not farmers. So we have to. So it's not money alone, as you quite rightly said. It's a whole mindset. It's a whole paradigm shift. If we are to have enough food, if we're going to have proper storage for that food, so we can have for processing and other things. Unless we make that paradigm shift, we're spinning top in mud.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Dr. Dottin?
Quite interesting. It's of critical importance, the deliberation from the individual. When I gave the statistics have given them from a definition of a farmer, which came from FAO. Yes, I may agree with him that we need to redefine a farmer in a Grenada context, but that we have not done that. And if I go to give statistics, then it will be very subjective. So I have to be objective based on our statistics report. But I understand what he's saying, but we need to do that in the Grenada context. And he himself is a statistician because he does a lot of survey. But to do that, you must have a definition. And we haven't defined what he's saying as yet in a Grenada context, in a Caribbean context. Because if you go to the dictionary and you ask, what is, and you just Google right now, what is a farmer? There are different definitions with different countries. India have got a definition. So we have used in the Ministry of Agriculture the FAO definition. What is need, and that's a debate. Probably we could, so I go with the comment, it's quite interesting, that we should define it in the Grenada context. And if we define that in the Grenada context, it will be right. I just want to say that we need to see farming, because when you look at farming, for example, one was saying that the senator should deal with farming aspect in the Senate, and I think that is wrong, because farming, what affects the farmer? The health system affects the farmer. The education system affects the farmer. The social aspect affects the farmer. So there is a dialectic relationship with all the industries, and hence the reason that definition must be looked at with stakeholders. And I thank him for that intervention.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning to you.
Morning.
So the last caller has made two very important points. Now I want to ask your guest, what input, a matter of fact, I've just joined you, what input is he making to promote farming on that level whereby the commercial farmer who sells his produce to, well, let me say marketing board, is there a stipulated price at which that farmer must sell his goods so as to make a profit? The last caller talked about a profit. And if this isn't done, that farmer is spinning top in mud. And I say this because I have had the experience where marketing board, for example, they take in all the produce from farmers, people doing farming. And they want to pay you little and nothing for your produce. Farming is no easy thing. As a result of that, they have high prices when you go to marketing board for that particular particular product. And if nothing can be done to set that variance there, again, it is a waste of time. Yes, let me hear your answer to the two questions I've just asked. Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Dr. Dottin.
Thank you. Quite pleasing and telling the observation. We must look at, and I looked at it differently. When I say food must be accessible, food must be available and affordable, I look at the consumers. So, for example, we have got poverty throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique. But the three most parish provinces are St. Andrews, St. Mark's, and St. Patrick. The question is that, how could a consumer in St. Patrick access affordable food? For that consumer to access affordable food, it ought to be at a right price, which means that marketing board has to sell it at a reasonable price. And I must say, I'm not defending marketing board here, because there is a lot of improvement in marketing board that need to be done. But let me say, marketing board is the only institution that you can move and get price reasonable. The question asks, how could marketing board sell in the future for the poor people at a reasonable price? It means that they have to buy it at a reasonable price. It means that farmers have to sell at a reasonable price. But I think what is important of the caller is that it must be profitable. So food system workers must be able to own a livelihood from their activities. How could that happen? I am the opinion that we need to, and that's going beyond the ministry. I'm speaking like Malachy Dottin here. We need to guarantee that there is a bank, just as how all the hotels have been built. There is a bank whereby money can be accessed by farmers at 2 and 3%. Once it goes beyond 5%, I'm involved in farming, it's not profitable. So farmers should be able to access money at a very reasonable rate. But interestingly also too, we need to guarantee that there are different technology and innovation. Yes, technology and innovation. And we need to guarantee that lands are available. So for example, there's a lot of lands, I'm sure Grenada and Petit Martinique. What we need to do is to, through the land bank, we put those land into a land bank and we make those lands available. This does not take the government alone. This takes our citizens and all come together and ensure that there is a land bank. Because we are talking about youths. Yes, you should be involved in farming. How could they get involved in farming? Let me give you an example. There are people who you only get a piece of land when your father would have died at 90 years. So how will you have access to lands? And we must address those things. We must address the issue of marketing. Addressing the issue of marketing is not only looking for regional and foreign market, but guaranteeing that we are consuming what have been grown in Grenada. And this ought to be done through the school feeding program. I'm convinced. I've been always chatting about the school feeding program. Unless we can get the school feeding program going, then it will be difficult, because Grenada, the market in Grenada is easily flooded. I can say, because we don't consume what we grow. So these are some things that we have to work together. It's not only the Ministry of Agriculture, but the Ministry of Health must be on board. The Ministry of Education, of course, finance have got to give the finance. But we must take into consideration that we have been living under a mode of production, which is capitalism. And capitalism has already buried us. Kill us, but we cannot let capitalism bury us. It's unethical. And hence the reason, within that global mode of production, within liberation, a liberalized economy, we ought to be able to understand all those things. Because the liberalization that is taking place is not only through the government, it's an international mode of production. And ever so often, we follow it. So those things are crucial, what I have been saying, in terms of the finance. We need to have that available. And if that is available, yes, caller, farmers will have at a reasonable rate, 2 to 3%, and then they'll be able to sell the produce cheaper to marketing board, cheaper to the supermarket and other institutions, and ensure that the people, Grenada at large, have food available, accessible, but critical, important, affordable.
Good morning, caller.
Good morning. I have a question for Dr. Dottin.
Yes, go ahead, please.
Dr. Dottin, when would you have the abattoir up and running?
That's crucial. That's crucial. The abattoir is not only to access meat, but also in terms of safety, to guarantee that the food that are eaten are not only nutritious but are safe. And I welcome that input. The abattoir has been worked upon. As you know, we are putting a lot of emphasis with that build at the Maribo complex. And at our last meeting, our new minister said that this is one of his priority to guarantee that the abattoir is not only running effectively, but efficiently. And I await such, and there is plan for such, and I welcome that question. So let us say for sure next year, it will be running effectively with some efficiency.
There's a question on the WhatsApp. When would we settle down and be prepared to work together? It amazes me the amount of time that we spend trying to destroy each other, criticizing and condemning, abusing, disrespecting each other. Hold on. I don't believe this is in relation to agriculture. Yeah, I don't think that's in relation to agriculture. So let me go to the next WhatsApp question. I recall somewhere between 2011 and 2014, the Russians offered Grenada a number of scholarships in highly developed areas of agriculture like processing, engineering, agronomy, bioinformatics, biochemistry, etc. I'm wondering how many people received scholarships under that program, and if they were, how these skills are being utilized in our society. Are you aware?
I can safely say that I recall when our new minister was sent to agriculture, the Ministry of Agriculture, and people say that it's a demotion. I want to answer the question by saying that what is needed for us to get maximum production, also too, we need to have technical people. Because within the Ministry of Agriculture, we do not have an entomologist, we do not have a pathologist. So we need more people to engage in the respective discipline of agriculture. And broadly, caller, I wish to say, is that the thing that is about food security, there need to be some incentive for people who study agriculture. Because I could make a joke. When one study medicine, that person comes to the hospital and they as a specialist, they have what we call law of practice, so they get finance for that. As a entomologist or biotechnologist, you do not get that. So the people who study agriculture do not get the same treatment as the people who study health. Yes? And unless we see that in that sense, unless we see the importance of agriculture for food security, then we will always be saying that, all right, then there are less production. But we need to guarantee there are more people studying with the respective discipline in agriculture to ensure their maximum production. So I agree with him that all the respective discipline, once we could have scholarship, we should be able to access those scholarships. And once the people return, guarantee that they could be in meaningful engagement in agriculture. Thank you.
Earlier in the program, you mentioned as well the dietary guidelines. Any plans on or any knowledge as to when that will be launched on the Sister Isles?
That will be launched tomorrow on the Sister Isles. Tomorrow it will launch in Carriacou, and on Wednesday it will be launched at Petit Martinique. So right now, the head of the Food Nutrition Council, that's Ms. Brown, Lydia Brown, she is in Carriacou. I'm supposed to go up there this evening, and that will be launched. This is crucial because when you look at what is happening, there is an increase in overweight and obesity. Most of the non-communicable disease has a problem to deal with nutrition. And I think if we get that going throughout the school, after school, throughout Grenada, Carriacou, and Petit Martinique, then we will have less non-communicable disease and a healthier nation.
As we wrap up the program, Dr. Dottin, any final words? I know you wanted to mention as well increase in banana production in Grenada.
Yes, we have introduced a program we have got distributed 10,000 tissue culture banana plants. It is our hope that will cover roughly, basically 14 to 15 acres. And as I've said, we are increasing that up to 60,000 next year, both with banana and plantain. And it's our hope that at least with the program, one child eating a banana per week in school, we'll have to do 100 acres of banana. So that will create employment in the rural areas. But look at it also that one child eats a head of lettuce per week, one cabbage per week. Drink some orange juice and grapefruit juice, one glass of grapefruit juice per week. Could you imagine what will take place in our economy? That will create employment, but importantly, what the caller has spoken about, create profitability for our farmers. And I think that's the way forward. Linking our agriculture program with the Ministry of Health program, with social services, I prefer to say social transformation department, and all the rest of the department, we must be able to have a multi-sectorial committee when we are talking about and planning for agriculture. It can't be the Ministry of Agriculture alone. This was yesterday. Today's world, it has to be a multi-sectorial committee planning together. I thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Dottin, for speaking with us. Appreciate your time. World Food Day on Friday, God willing. The exhibition starts at what time?
The exhibition will start at 9 this Friday at the National Stadium. So we will have a lot of displays from the respective division and also from respective agri-entrepreneurs.
And protocols, of course, are in place, COVID-19 protocols.
All the protocol that has been in place will also be empowered because that is crucial. I think we have been blessed that the Ministry of Health is overseeing a very effective and efficient program. So all kudos to them.
And just remind us again what sort of products or produce we'll be able to see and possibly purchase at the exhibition.
Well, at the exhibition, we are inviting all to come down because there will be a reduction in prices. So you will get a lot of vegetables, a lot of fresh fruits, the coconut water. We have spoken to all the agri-entrepreneurs that will be displaying and selling to reduce the price. So you'll have reducing prices. So we are encouraging all to take that opportunity and come down on Friday at 9. It will be from 9 to 5.
Thank you once again, Dr. Dottin. You have yourself a good day and happy planning for this Friday's activity.
Thank you. It has been a pleasure.
Thank you very much. That was Dr. Malachy Dottin, Director of Research in the Ministry of Agriculture. We thank him for being our guest this morning, and thank you, our viewers and listeners, for tuning in. That's the end of my time today. I'll be back with you tomorrow morning, God willing. Janelle is up next with Mid-Morning Buzz. Have yourselves a productive, marvelous, magnificent Monday.